Okay, for all those people that have been dropping comments about doing the OpenGD77 flash code, I'm going to try to get through this as fast as I can. And I'm going to try to leave some videos in between, kind of showing you what I'm talking about as best I can. I got a few comments asking me to slow down, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing you need to do is, of course, you need to have a OpenGD77 radio. I'm also going to put the show notes. I have a new website at HOTSPOT Guy, and I'm going to try to keep all the show notes and stuff. There's really good stuff. I'm going to open it up for registration soon. And additionally, I'm opening another website, which is going to be QRZ.com, and that should be up hopefully soon. I still haven't gotten my SSL certificates, but I will have this up, and this is going to be an entire radio social network, including a login page and a net controller for GMRS and ham radio. Everybody can meet and be happy, but it's a work in progress, and I'm doing it as fast as I can. So the first thing you need to do, go to OpenGD77. If you need the CPS, here's the CPS right here. You click this. Now, if you're installing a firmware, that's a whole nother video. I could probably talk for about 45 minutes on just that alone. But right here, you find your radio, you download your firmware, and you get started. Next thing you need to do is you need to make sure you have a radio ID. So you go to radioid.net, and you just go in here, sign up, log in, register. You have to upload your ham call sign, and they will give you a DMRID number. And that is 7-digit number is going to be like your private phone number. So that means that you can call another user by just dialing their phone number in and calling them. And you can also get on networks such as Brandmeister, TGIF, All-Star, you name it. Okay. So before we get started, what we're going to do is I want to show you basically on a repeater book. Repeater book is a good way to find repeaters in your area that are DMR. You select DMR. It says North American repeaters, and you click your state, and then it comes up with a big list like this. Okay, and I have repeaters, and I update this. You can't always go off of everything this says, but it gives you a good idea. So you can, Google. Like if I wanted to find out about this New Orleans downtown, I could Google what have you. The reason why I'm showing you this is if you saw my video that I made about DMR terms, I'll try to stick a link up here. But basically, you click into this here. Okay, so here's like what a page would be. So here you got a downlink of this frequency. You have uplink of this frequency. So downlink means receiving. Uplink means you're transmitting. Okay. You don't have to worry about these PLs and stuff like that because it's DMR. In DMR, we have color codes. So instead of PL, CTCSS, DCS tones, and all that, we have color codes. Okay. So when I come into this, and I'm going to use this as one of the frequencies on there. So this is going to be on a page and then on show notes. You click down here on DMR when you scroll down. See how it says color code 1? We need that. And right here, you see how it says both sides linked. That means time slot 1 in time slot 2. Remember from that video, there's 2 time slots. Both of them are linked. So the big takeaway with this is that if you have what's called promiscuous mode, which the OpenGD77 radios do have that, it means that basically it will pick up every conversation, everything going through that repeater tower. So even if you think your conversations are private, it doesn't matter. If they got promiscuous mode turned on, they will hear you coming through that tower. So what this is doing right here is saying time slot 2 is going to automatically play these 3 channels. So if you have promiscuous mode on, it's going to monitor these 3 top channels. So you can go to time slot 1 and pick whatever you want to go to, and also keep time slot 2. Like this is one of them's Louisiana. I'm in Louisiana. So this one here is the statewide. This one here is another talk group in Louisiana, another talk group in Louisiana, I believe. I'm not sure what 31220 is, but it tells you pretty much everything you need to know here. So for what I'm going to do is I'm going to include this piece of paper, and this is what we're going to do. I'm going to put this in the description. So we're going to make this time slot 1. So see, I took the 2 frequencies to download the uplink. The color code's 1. Time slot's going to be 1. We're going to do 4 talk groups. We're going to do a 4000, which is a disconnect. You might want to memorize that. A talk group 91, which is going to be, I believe, worldwide for Brandmeister, and 3122, which is Louisiana, and 31225, which is another Louisiana talk group. We're going to have that on there. Also, we are going to do a home hotspot, and I just made this frequency up, so don't take it to the bank. It's made up. As well as these 2 call signs. We're going to put 2 DMR call signs in. And I tell you what, let's go ahead and make our DMR ID number. We'll say we went to radioid.net or what have you, and they came back and they said, we're 320-4444. So 7 digits, just like a phone number. It's easy to remember. DMR ID has 7 digits in it, just like a phone number. So that means when I type this private call to this number right here, that person's radio is going to pop up and say, okay, you have a private call. Would you like to accept? Yes or no? All right, so let's get started with this. And like I said, I'm going to put this on hotspotguy.com, and I'm also going to try to put it in the description, even though it's going to ding me on YouTube. So we're going to go ahead, and I think I covered just about everything we needed to cover. Yep. All right, we're ahead of time. So now open your OpenGD77 flash code, then moving on up. We're going to start this. We're going to do it nice and easy. I'm going to get you through this. If you have any questions, just drop them into the comment section below. Okay, so right here, we're going to call this the tree of fun. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to start from the top. DMR and call sign. I guess I should have made our fake ham a call sign. Let's make this fake ham FAK. How's that? We'll make it KJ5 FAK. Okay, I just typed that on a sheet so I can make sure I have it. So call sign is going to be KJ5 FAK. And of course, I didn't hit the 5. All right, DMR ID, that is your radio ID. So we decided we were going to make that, and I'm cheating here because I got this thing in front of me. 320-4444. Okay, you're done. Now, so when you close out of this, it'll still be here when you click it. That's one thing about the OpenGD77. The people that made this software really had easiness, and they made this, in my opinion, this is one of the best softwares they have out there. They really thought about it. You got your boot screen here, which, you know, when it boots on, it'll show, you know, a little thing while it's booting up. It'll say Radio Diddy GD77, and you can change this, and also you can put a picture in there. Okay, and before, if there's anybody watching this, we're going to get to downloading the DMRID database. I'm going to cover that towards the end because I want to get everybody through just getting this programmed. Okay, band limits. This is going to be, you know, what your VHF and your UHF frequencies are. I don't think you're going to have too many out of these ranges here. If not, I don't think you're legal, but you may be watching from another country, what have you. They have APRS. We're not going to get on that. That's another video. Okay. Contacts. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, It comes with some DMR contacts. All right. Before I start this, there's two things I want to tell you. Okay. You see how Parrot, which is 9990, is a private call? Okay. One other thing. Remember that 4000 we talked about earlier? Let's also make that a private call. Okay. Now, why do you want to do this? Now, I'm going to tell you why, which I tell you what, we're going to delete these and we're going to start all over. Okay. It's also good to have a Talkgroup 9 because sometimes your repeaters and your tower sites might have a local talk group on Talkgroup 9. So just remember, it might be good to have one there. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to start to put in our information. Also, let me see where I have it. I put inside the description a list of the Brandmeister talk groups. So in case you were wanting to see what the Brandmeister talk groups are, here's a list. It is a very, very, very long list. Also, I put a TGIF link in there, which is going to be right here. And I close out of them both. Isn't that wonderful? Brilliant, huh? This is going perfect today. Oh, where is it? All right. So we put you can download it also as a CSV file to look at it inside Excel or what have you, or a regular text editor. Let's get that out the way. But going back to that, we're going to add the first one, which is going to be 4000. You always want to add 4000 as your first contact in there. So the reason why you want 4000 as a private call, just remember disconnect and Parrot should always be put in a private call. But Brandmeister has a bunch of rules, and I didn't read all of them, but all I know is that if, say you're driving and you got one tower, right? And then you don't know if you're close enough to the next tower for the handoff. You can basically ka-chunk 4000 and you'll get the Brandmeister not linked. So that's an easy way to tell if you're getting close to the tower. So you could change over, say you had the tower number 1 and you listen to tower number 1 here, okay? And you're driving and tower number 2 is here, okay? If you're driving, you need to hand off to this next tower because you can't have the same DMRID on both towers, right? I hope everybody's following. Okay, so if I'm driving, I could change to the channel to the tower number 2 and I can press 4000 and it's going to, if it comes back not linked, then I know that I am good to change over to this tower. So it'll hand off and you won't have any issues. Whereas if you're driving and say you're not close to that and you wouldn't have that not linked error popping up, then you wouldn't know if you're close enough. So what's going to end up happening is it might have a decent signal and it might drop. So your DMRID might be on both these towers. So that's why I always say, put it as a private call. That way you can, the tower will actually call you like a private call to say not linked. Whereas if you have it on just a regular talk group, you could have bad reception and it not come through. But you know that when you place a private call of 4000, if it comes to you, then you're golden. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the first contact we're going to do, and this is what I do. You don't have to do what I do, but I'm just telling you how I do it. I have one of the worst memories in the world. So, like if you want to do DC, anything you want to put. But one of the things I hate doing is, what if you don't remember 4000 is the talk group? What I do is I put a slash and I put a 4000. So that way, when I pull this up on the screen, I can see DC 4000. Okay. And then right here where it says caller ID, you're still going to put 4000. Is it a group call? No, because what did I say we want to do with 4000? We want to make that a private call. Okay. Now the repeater slot, you can leave this disabled. I generally always pick 2. But it doesn't really matter because when you're on the channel, you're going to tell it what repeater slot you want to be on. Like it's going to be in the channel, and we'll show you that in a little later. But see, once you get done with that, you can X out of that, and bam, there's our. And like I said, you always want to have your disconnect at the top. Why? Because when you're driving and you want to key up 4000 to see if you're close to the tower, then you don't want to be fumbling around. So you always want to make 4000 your main menu. Another reason why, say you go to sleep and you left your hotspot on all night, right? You go to sleep and you wake up the next day. When you turn that radio on, it's going to show this as the first channel. You're going to say, oh, that's right. I was connected to this talk group last night. Let me just go hit 4000 to disconnect. So there's a bunch of reasons why you want to keep DC as 4000. So the next one we want to do is we wanted to do worldwide. And so you got enough space to hit what you want in here. See, I put a slash, and we said worldwide is going to be 91. Yeah, 91. And then right here where caller ID is, 91. And this is a group call. If it's not a private call, it is a group call. And like I said, you could just leave this the way it is, but I always put time slot 2. I don't know why, it always works, so I'll just leave it that way. Okay. Next, we're going to add we're going to do Louisiana statewide slash, and I do this. You don't have to do this. You could just put Louisiana LA state. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. I'm just trying to show you how I do it. So 3122 3122. And we're going to add that as a group. And like I said, I always put time slot 2. Let's see what happens when you hit disable. I don't think it's going to matter. See, yeah, see, it doesn't matter because when you do your channel, it's going to ask you what time slot you want to be in. So either way is fine. And if you want to edit it, come over here to where this arrow is and double click. And see, now you can do that. And there you go. And then we got one more we're going to add. We're going to add let's see, it was Southeast Louisiana. I know these because I type them in so much, which is 31225. Again, caller ID 31225. Okay, time slot 2. And there we go. Okay, while we're in here, let's go ahead and do our private call. Let's put our 2 friends in, Bob and Jane. This, it doesn't matter what you pick. You can go to private call, add. I'm going to show you something really cool. Okay. Say you don't have that DMR number and you have to have something. And you want to know what somebody's DMR number is without going through DMRID. Say we do K5, try to think of what it, J5, we'll do LJJ. When I hit look call sign ID, it automatically inputs their DMR ID. Isn't that neat? So you can save that and you can go to the side, type their name here or whatever. I just wanted to show you that trick. Not a lot of people know that. So we're going to do, I always put that call sign because I am really bad when we did TTT. Okay. And we made a DMR ID of 3201111. And all this will be in the instructions. We know it's a private call. See, it doesn't matter because you can go and choose whatever you want. Okay, so private call, I usually do the same thing, repeater slot 2. But here's the other thing I do. Say this person, let's see, this person's name is Bob. And I always type capitals because I'm used to Motorola. They yell at me when I don't put capitals into the alpha tag. So when I pick this radio up to call this person, I press that button and it initiates a call to him. Well, I'm not the great, I can't remember a lot of stuff. So what if I can't remember his call sign, Bob's call sign? Well, or say I got 2 Bobs. This is going to tell me who Bob is. So when I call him, I'm going to say K5RVY KJ5TTT. Bob, you out there? You see what I'm saying? It's good to have this on the alpha tag. And the same thing when you X out, it's still going to be there. Now, the thing that really annoys me that I wish they did do something, maybe somebody can drop it in the comments below. For some reason, like if say I wanted to add another talk group, it would be here. There's no way to really separate, like to where you can have all your private calls at the bottom, all your stuff at the top. I suggest getting a piece of paper and writing down what you want to program and do it like you're doing it before, with a purpose, like you know what you're doing, as my friend would say. So look, I'm going to go ahead and select group. We're going to add another contact, add. Here's our contact. So we're going to name Jane. I put a slash, / I think that's what it is. KJ5 TSS. Right? Now we know it's a private call. See? No big deal. No harm, no foul. You don't have to delete everything. These people really thought about what they were doing. We'll make one up for this too. So you got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do a 9. Matter of fact, let me copy this so y'all will have this in the description, or I'm going to type it over here. So we don't have anybody that gets confused or lost on this. I got told I was going too slow last time, so we're going to do it that way. Get rid of one of them ones. Repeater slot, we're going to go to 2. Boom. All right. So now we got it. Now I wanted to show everybody how I put my channels into the radio, and hopefully I will have a video to pop up here to show you. Okay. Next, we're going to X out of that. Okay, now we get to the fun part. Okay. We're going to go to channels. Click on channels. It's going to open this one up. Double click. Box is going to open up. Okay. So, just to let you know, I don't think I put an analog channel in there. Just so you know, if you want to do analog, put it right there. And see, you want to put on 25 kilohertz for wideband. This is your tones right here for your receive. This is for your transmit. Your squelch is right here, which you can just leave it on master, and it will let you do that. I should have went and did something like that, but you just put your frequencies in, and there you go. Well, we're going to start with the first one. Let's go ahead and do that tower we looked up earlier. Okay, we want digital. Now, what is a tower? The tower we want to use is, it's in LACOMBE, that tower. And I put that in the description so nobody got confused. I usually put DMR behind it, so I know that's a digital channel. Okay? And remember how I said it doesn't matter what your time slot? Remember when I told you that earlier? I said it doesn't matter if you put 1, 2, or unknown, or whatever that third option was. It doesn't matter because it's right here. Okay. So if you want to find your location, you can do that. If you want to see where the tower is, it'll show you on the screen how far your contact was. I'm not getting into all that. We're going to just do the P's and the grits here. I'm going to get you through these flash codes. So we looked up and we saw the tower's receive was 147.2700. Okay. We know the transmit frequency is, and that's the second frequency, which would have been uplink 147.87000. Okay. Now, this here, you can leave that off. You can leave it on none. This is if it, in which I think I showed you a flash code of mine, how I like mine. I have it set into Brandmeister, TGIF, and private calls. So we'll get into this hopefully by the end of this video. So we found out our color code was 1, okay, and our time slot was 1, if you remember correctly. All right, there you go. First channel in there. Hit the plus sign. It automatically does digital. We're going to do our home hotspot, okay? So we're going to go here, name it hotspot, okay? We're going to enter in the fake frequency I put up there, okay? And because it's a hotspot, we'll say it's simplex. So it's the same frequency in and out, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. That just means it's simple. And say you had your longitude and latitude, you could put 90 point, that's where I'm at. And then, oh wait, no, this one would be, I think it's 29 point dot and then in Louisiana we'd be usually a negative 90 dot whatever, okay? And I'll just show you when you go to key up how far you're making the trip, okay? Now you got to pay attention to this, because this isn't always, if you're going to pay attention to anything on here other than the frequency, make sure that, see how color code is 0? There you go. Repeater slot, we'll say that our repeater slot was 2 on this one. Okay, so now we got our channels in there. You can X out of it, and when you click this here, it pops up. Now this is the trick, same thing as I showed you earlier. If you want to click, you can click here all day, undo anything. Click over here, and it will open a box up. And if you want to go to the next one, you can go here, you can go there, back, and there you go. Now this also goes with your scan list. I don't think I'm going to get in now. I think pretty much everybody knows how to do a scan list. Also, one other thing before I forget. This right here, override master DMRID. I don't know exactly why you would use this, because remember at the very beginning, we came up here and we did DMR and call sign. It automatically fits it in there. So maybe you had a tower that had some kind of privacy on there where you had your buddy owned it. You could, and it only accepted that person's DMR ID, you could pop it in there, or for test purposes or anything like that. I don't know exactly why you would use that, but that's about it. All right, let me go into this too. Okay. So say we have, I tell you what, let's do this. Even better now, I got a better idea. Let's create another hotspot. Okay. And I'm going to add, this is off the record here. I'm going to add hotspot 2, or hotspot, let's call this one Brandmeister. Okay. We'll leave these frequencies up here. I think y'all got the point. We'll put 1 here. Okay. Now see how I have none here? Remember that in a minute. We're going to put repeater slot 2. Okay. I just made one that says hotspot Brandmeister. Okay. Remember this. All right. So when we go open these contacts up, and see, you can have more than one. Sometimes I'm glad I do stuff, because that would have been something I probably wouldn't have covered. Let's pretend that worldwide, let's make a contact list for, we'll pretend that worldwide and disconnect is on Brandmeister. And all these two right here will be TGIF. Let's just pretend that Louisiana State and Southeastern Louisiana are going to be called on TGIF. Okay? I'm going to show you something. Okay, so when you come here to Talkgroup Lists, you got to click one of these. Okay. Now, if I'm going to lose anybody, it's going to be here. Okay, so I like everything capitalized. So we're going to say Brandmeister. Okay. Now, which ones on here belong in Brandmeister? We said we were going to do worldwide, and we said we were going to be doing disconnect, right? Okay. So next, let's say this DMR mark. This is old. You don't even need this. So actually, you can change this, as a matter of fact. So let's make this TGIF. Okay? TGIF. So we said we're going to put Louisiana State, and we're going to put Southeast Louisiana. And look, one other thing. Say your disconnect was down here and you wanted it to go to the top. You can go to this up and move it on up. And you can move it down. Doesn't matter. And you can also take it out. And you can put it back in. Okay? So now let's make another group for private calls. Let's call this one HOTSPOT. And I put PC for private call. Now, which ones out of here are going to be your private calls? Bob, Jane, and there you go. Now you have this here. Now let me show you why this is neat. Okay. So we're talking about driving and fumbling around the car, right? So here we go. So say we are on our regular hotspot, right? Oh, let's go to hotspot. Hotspot Brandmeister, right? Say I got all these contacts that are in this contact list. That means that while you're driving, you're going to have to scroll through 75,000 contacts to get to the one you want. So we can alleviate that. Remember this right here where it said Talkgroup List? When we drop this down, now do you see? I hope everybody sees what I did. When I select Brandmeister, that means that only the ones that I put into this Brandmeister Talkgroup list are going to show up. So that means, what do we have in these other two? 4 other things. That means 2 options are going to show up as opposed to 6. Now, let's look at this. Here's a regular hotspot. So we'll pretend like this is TGIF, right? Same thing here, TGIF. Now you linked. Okay, let's go to private call. Let's find out where it is. See how I'm using this arrow? Or actually, we might need to make another one. Oh, and that's another thing. So let's go ahead, just for the tutorial, since we got LACOMBE DMR, we'll say it's a Brandmeister tower. Brandmeister, okay? Let's add another channel. I hope I'm not losing anybody, but follow me on this. You're going to appreciate it. So I'm going to say, when I'm home, I might want to call my buddies. So I'm going to do hotspot, and I'm going to do private call. And we're going to leave the channels here. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Hotspot, private call. Now remember, always check it. 1, Peter slot, 2. All right, I think you guys are going to have it. If you can follow or rewind that part of the video, rewatch it, I think you're going to be set. Now, I had said the zones. Zone is over here in the menu of fun. You put zone down menu here. Now you can read the book on how to do this kind of stuff. Okay, they have special keys that you hit to swap zones. Why would you want a zone? Because, all right, I live in Louisiana. Okay, we have the North Shore and we have the South Shore. We have this big long bridge that's 26 miles long, and a normal repeater is good for 30 miles. So when I'm on the North Shore, I don't care about scrolling. It's all about, like when you're driving, how fast you can get to the contacts. So that means that, say this, like this LACOMBE right here. This is one that's in here. So let's see, it automatically put one in there. But okay, so say we're on the North Shore. North Shore. This is how you make a zone. Add the channels. You have to have one in there. It'll populate that in there, but it's no big deal. Say we wanted to move this one in here. Now we can move it back. No big deal. Actually, that's probably going to be the only one. You got to have Let's see. Yeah, okay. So now you can move that one back. All right. So let's say I'm on the South Shore and I don't want to see the channels on the North Shore. I want to scroll through that thing and not have any problems. I'm going to type South Shore and I want my hotspots in there. So add, add, add. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, we are good. I wanted to go over one other thing. When you first get your radio, go up here to the top where extras is. Click this download call sign database. Now, OpenGD77 is awesome in that you don't have to go to another website, play with an Excel sheet, and do all this crazy stuff. You can actually download it from inside the software. Show me one radio that does this. Show me one. Okay, I want to bring your attention down here to the bottom. See, it says data record length. It says number of characters, 50. The default is 50, okay? Now you can increase that. Actually that's what I put is 50. It might say something different. It might say like 20. So this is going to show below the call sign in the DMR number or the call sign in the name. So I like to see as much as I can. I like to see the city. I like to see the state. I like to see the country. I like to see the person's full name. So I want everything used. So you can drop this down to 50 and you can play with this. It's not a big deal. You're not going to break anything by playing with this. And you can see up here, it says 342,864 can go in there. Now, generally, I want to say we're at 200 and something thousand. You can also do region. I don't do that. I download the whole database. I want the whole world in there. So see right here, it says download from Radio ID Net. I leave it on Radio ID Net. Why not? Because they assign the radio numbers. So you're not going to find a database more accurate. So what you do is you hit this download from and watch. It's downloading your database. Your entire database is now downloaded. Every single person's call sign and their radio ID. Every single one. Now to write to the radio, you hit this. It takes about 15 minutes to get the whole world in there. So why not? And see, if you want to get rid of the first name, city to state, and make more space, you don't want this United States, you can get rid of this country and then download from, and it's going to populate it in there. One other thing I want to show you. Under extras, go there to OpenGD77 support. It is a good idea to click this stuff like backup MCU, backup flash. I don't know what this is. Save this. Also, you can install your satellite keeps. I don't know much about satellites. I don't do HF. I know the satellites are in the air. Also, right here, you can change your tone. Also, you can put your voice prompts. So if you have Dutch and you want, or you have a nice, sexy Chinese person, you can put that voice prompt in there. You can also read and write from the code plug. So now that we're done with this, we would click the write. And I hope this helped everybody. And if you don't mind, if you just leave a comment saying thank you, or let me know if you have any questions. I love hearing from you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.